These are 7 hard truths about growing 100,000 followers on Instagram in 10 days. Now, if I was to lose my audience of over 600,000 followers cross platforms and over 20 million monthly views, and I had to grow an audience from zero, this is exactly what I would do. And these are the 7 hard truths that no one talks about. Now, your life can change just with one video. You are one video away from changing the trajectory of your life. I had a 90-second video which I wasn't going to post. I remember sharing it with the closest friend I had at the time, and he quoted, I quote, word and word, "You are such a cringe fest." And I was thinking, should I post it, should I not post it? I told myself, what do I have to lose? Press the post button, went to gym, came back home. That was my first ever viral video. Long story short, that video got me this award. I don't know if you can see it. Got invited by the whole government of China to travel around China for 2 weeks. And that's when I realized the power of social media and the power that it has. Now, that's the first point I want to get to. Whose approval do you need? You don't need anyone's approval. Now, I always ask myself, what would have happened if I never posted that video? I would still be working in retail. I would still be an Uber Eats delivery driver, and I wouldn't be able to speak to you today because I was not confident in myself. I would always try something new and ask everyone for advice. Would you ever ask someone who's never had a good relationship on relationship advice? Would you ask a homeless person for money advice? Now, why are you asking your friends on social media advice if they've never done social media? Which goes into the first point that I'm trying to make. Never ask someone for advice in an area that they don't have the results in. Like, unless it's an option for you, you shouldn't be given an opinion. And that's one of the hard truths, that we're constantly asking people around us, people that we care about, for their opinions because they mean something to us, but they've never had the results. So listen to them if you want the same results. Now, the second thing is views don't equal money. I had this big fallacy that once I had 100,000 followers, I'm going to be rich, I'm going to be famous, my life is completely sorted. That wasn't the case. I managed to go to China. That's when I realized if a whole country brought me in because of the exposure that I have, there is power behind it. Now, how can I use it? I was barely making any money. And that's when I find online coaching, where it's something I'm going to speak to you about after. That's why I would always say it would be views, it would be value over views. You want to be recognized for something valuable. There are only 3 things that you use social media for: to entertain, to inspire, or to educate. The goal is to do all 3. Third one is an identity shift. This is the most important one. Everyone's so focused on the how. How do I post this? How do I do this? What do I say? But if you are not the person that can do it, you will always fail, which is why I will always say everyone can do this. Everyone can be an entrepreneur, but most people won't. Why? Because it is going to be hard. You have to be resilient, and that's the part that most people avoid. The who. You have to be the person that can do it. The same way you go to a job that you do not like because you want to get paid, that is your reason. So the reason is what you identify with to keep on going. The same thing, if you want to live off content creation, you have to treat it like a job. You need to treat it as something that you're going to live by. So every single day, you have to show up. Feel like it, don't feel like it. That's why you have to set non-negotiables. My non-negotiable was posting every single day, but for me to be non-negotiable at this, I had to be someone who can consistently take action whenever I didn't feel like it. That's why I would always say the way you do anything is the way you do everything. That's why I say we do not miss. It's a mentality, is what you choose to do. I don't feel like going to the gym every single day, but we do not miss. What does it give me? The physique that I've always wanted. I don't always feel like posting a video, but I post every single day because we do not miss. It gives me the outcome of being able to live full-time on my personal brand. Now, that's one of the hardest things for me to take in. The identity shift from working for someone to working for myself, because I wanted that security that when I go to my retail job, I'm going to get paid and I know I'm going to get paid. Now, this is the difference. I believe in myself and have the utmost confidence because I create the character that can keep on going. And when I do get paid, I get paid handsomely. And that allowed me from making $1,200 in a single month, from working 2 jobs as an Uber Eats delivery driver and working retail, to making over $3,000 in 1 day, because I believed in myself enough. And that's what most people won't do because they're so afraid, because they don't believe in themselves. Now, the 4th one is mentors. Now, the reason mentors are so important is because they speed ramp your success. Now, they've done something that you are trying to do. Now, I remember when I wanted to get my first ever mentor, I was so skeptical. I was afraid because I've never done such a big investment before. It was $3,000 for 1 month. And I said to myself, this guy has what I want. Now, worst case scenario, I have to work 2 months and then I will get my money back. Or if not, this guy will give you the blueprint, I take action on it, and I become the person. Now that's number one. If you're not someone who can take action, don't even bother mentors. And that's the mentality that I had before, that I can do everything myself. I can just watch videos on the internet. I could just do this. I was 2 years trying to do it myself, and I was still in the same place. Now the truth is, if you wanted to do it, you would have done it by now. The question is, why haven't you? And that's the thing. They hold you accountable, and they make sure that you're doing everything that you're meant to do, because now the doubts come out of your head. There's a clear blueprint for you to follow, and that was one of the things that speed ranked my success. Number 5, do not recreate the wheel. The content scene is constantly changing. Now there's an influx of carousels, which has started to get promoted, static images. That wasn't pushed as much before. Before it was short form content, quick dopamine rush reels. So that's why you have to learn how to not recreate the wheel. So you see what's working already, see what your favorite creators are doing, which are relevant in the last 2-3 months, and add your own sauce to it. You are the different sauce. And the reason this is so important is because most people want to be original, have their own ideas, and that's why they fail. You do not know what worked. You need to take away the guesswork. So what you do, see what works. It's like McDonald's. Imagine they said, well, we're not going to sell burger, chips, and fries because Burger King sells burger, chips, and fries. There's a clear blueprint that works. And some people go to McDonald's, some people go to Burger King. Why? Because of the sauce. The taste is slightly different, and you will be that slight difference. Number 6, how to monetize on the internet. So there are several ways to monetize on the internet. There's brand deals, there's online coaching, the info space. Now, people need to understand that you do not get paid by the internet. You get paid by people who use the internet. So people are not giving money away for free. Now the question is, why is someone going to give you money? Now brand deals normally give you money because you have attention towards a very specific demographic which aligns. So the brand, they pay you, they give you endorsements, and then you become their mascot. But that was never for me because I had to depend on someone else, and I wanted to depend on myself. That's why I chose the online coaching route. And why is it so important? And this is why I always say, if you have an area of knowledge, or you have a skill set, or a problem that you managed to overcome, and you're not sharing it with the world, you are being selfish, because where you are right now, you wish you had the answers that you have today. You just have to be 2 steps ahead from where you were before. And that person is begging for your help. Why? Because the way you solve that problem is very specific, and that's why people would choose you over anyone else. And I used to think, why would someone come to me over someone who has 1 million followers? Why would someone come to me who's a lot more educated on the situation? It's not about education. We have ChatGPT. It's about experience. It's about those underlying issues. Now, 99% of the world knows how to get in shape. Now, I've never been overweight, but if someone who's overweight who went to Super Jack tried to tell me how to get in shape, I'll listen. But it won't impact me as much if I heard that someone who was insecure, who was depressed, who was full of anxiety, very skinny, got jacked. Now, I feel like that person speaking to me on behalf of me and for me. So that's why I would relate to that person over the other person who's more knowledgeable. Now, number 7 is you just have to start. Everyone gives themselves this excuse. I'm not ready. I don't have the right camera gear. I don't have the latest iPhone. You will never feel ready. You'll be waiting 1 year, 2 years, 10 years. Look how long you've been waiting for. Ready isn't a feeling. It's a decision that you have to make. And every time that you put it off till later, you are feeling doubt. And every time that you feed doubt, you become insecure. And every time you become insecure, you don't believe in yourself. And every time you don't believe in yourself, you lose that confidence. And without that confidence, you won't be able to believe anything that you want to do. That's why you break, that's why you shrink, that's why you live with constant guilt, shame, and regret. And if you live in that loophole, every day that goes by is proof that you don't want it as much as that you say you do. And you think you have time. But time is the only asset that we're spending, that we don't know how much of it we have left. Oh, I'll leave it off to tomorrow. How long has it been? You had a note of goals for 2025. Now that we're going to go to 2026, how is that going for you? Why? Because you lack so much accountability. You're waiting for the right time and it doesn't exist. Your whole life will go ahead of you. Now imagine in 30 years looking back, realizing that, I was waiting for the right time and I have not reached half of my potential because I was so afraid to start. I was so afraid of what someone else thought because I wasn't ready. I managed to progress with a cracked iPhone 12. I was so tired of being in the same situation, thinking I'm 25 years old, no career path, have no university degree. Is this really going to be the end of my life? Start, make the mistakes. That mistakes that you make is exactly what you need to get to where you want to get to, because it shows you where you have to improve. You're just afraid of being embarrassed. Embarrassment is such an underexplored emotion that everything you want is on the other side of it. Just look at the evidence in your life. How many times have you been uncomfortable? And everything that was beneficial, that you felt proud of, was on the other side of it. Just look at when you feel comfortable. You don't feel proud of anything you do in the side of comfort. You didn't learn how to speak the way that you speak. You didn't learn how to walk the way that you walk. Why? Because first, you crawled, you tried to walk, you fell, and you continued walking. That is the thing. The moment you got to an age where you develop ego, you stop growing since. Most people are still at the age from when they were 17 and you haven't grown since because you never challenge yourself, because you view it as such a negative thing. You're afraid of feeling discomfort. But discomfort is growth and comfort is the opposite of it. Discomfort is progression, comfort is regression. That's why I tell you, just start and the path illuminates as you walk it. Build your confidence. How? By taking the action. Not waiting for the right time. Manifestation, reading books. Your whole life will go ahead of you. Now, I hope you like this video, and this is the most amount of sauce that I can spill in a short form video like this. Now, if you want me to help you on your content journey and want me to give you the whole systems which I use to grow my personal brand, have an online coaching business, live full time of it, tell you what to post, how to post, and have direct access to me and what you hit your goals in 2026, book a call down below. With that being said, love you guys. Put down in the comment section below what was your favorite takeaway. That being said, let's get it. Don't waste more time. You don't know how much time of it you have left.